We are back with your entrepreneurial weekend wake-up call. It's Mark Haney time. And welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Every one of us has something special inside. And Mark Haney has a knack for helping us see the greatness we have inside. He is the entrepreneur next door. And this is the Mark Haney Show.
Welcome back to the Mark Haney Show. I'm Mark Haney, and today I am here with Allison Joy, the editor-in-chief of Comstock magazine. How are you doing today, Allison?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's find out about you. Let's find out about Comstock. Let's start with Comstock. What is this magazine and media company all about?
Yeah, so Comstock is the premier regional business publication for the capital region. We cover Sacramento County and the 9 surrounding counties, and our mission is to connect businesses, entrepreneurs, professionals to the resources they need to succeed and connect those to one another.
Aha. So connecting them. What is describe a success story in connection?
So I would say that we have done like themed issues around young professionals or entrepreneurs, and the best part of those issues is when we do like the big photo shoots or the mixers afterwards, and they all get to meet one another, and then then we find out about them collaborating or the organizations working together later, or some way that they can work together on their business and stuff like that.
I love that. Solitude is the death of an entrepreneur. Absolutely. Nobody does anything great alone. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs we sort of get stuck. Maybe we think we can do it alone, but it never turns out that way. Let's talk about Comstock. You're not building this thing alone. Let's talk about this team that you have.
No, I have a fantastic team. So we have, Winnie is the owner and founder.
Winnie Comstock, yeah.
Absolutely, the namesake. So Winnie started the publication. We'll have our 30th anniversary next July. So she started it 30 years ago, and this was after a different kind of local business publication had shut down, Executive Place, where she was. And so she came to work one day and realized that she no longer had a job because the company had shut down, and she went home. And she decided to fill the niche herself. So she got up and she registered herself a business. And she, the way she tells it is she signed some stories and went out and sold ads until she had enough to put together a magazine, and then sent it out and then did it over again. And
ad saleswoman turned entrepreneur like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then her business is all around promoting entrepreneurship and business and really our hometown, right? You're thinking about your mission. What do you think inspired her to create the business around our community like this? Because a lot of things could be taken national, but she's had this focus here on our hometown.
Yeah, Winnie, it just has a lot of pride in the region and a lot of love for the region and a lot of respect for the businesses that make it such a great place to live. And I mean, that's just her life's mission. She's also really passionate about philanthropy. We do an annual philanthropy publication as well, and like connecting businesses to giving as well. So, could we go national? Sure, maybe. Who knows? It's a crazy time in media right now, but I think that's where her heart is, and that's where my heart is, and that's.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. It's print media, right? You have this incredible, I almost think of it as like a piece of art. Your magazine is not like a little throwaway magazine. People, I'm sure, collect them and save them because it's a heavy-duty piece of paper, a group of papers. And the artwork is incredible. Obviously, the writing is off the charts as well. But, I mean, is that magazine, the print material, what's going on with that business?
It's a crazy time right now, and you see a lot of magazines, doing the opposite of what you just described, right? Thinning the paper stock, right? Cutting page count.
Going digital.
Right, going digital. But you also see magazines coming online, entering the market right now, and they tend to be niche focused, and they tend to be more luxury products. So you'll have thicker paper stock, beautiful artwork. That's where we kind of think we fall into. So, the print media world will shift. You saw this, when Kindles and ebooks started happening, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now ebook sales are actually dropping, and people are doing audiobooks, but they're also reading print books. And so, I think that there will always be a place for it. It's going to change, and it's going to get a lot more competitive, but we're ready.
What do you expect for Comstock? I mean, if you were to get the crystal ball, the same question I asked Devin is like, what do you see in terms of like how Comstock will adapt and overcome?
Yeah, I see I see our print product remaining our flagship product. I think that beating a niche publication, the kind of things that we do, it still speaks to our market. But obviously, we've since I came on in 2014 and really started the digital push. So we've redesigned our website, and we've also kind of worked. We used to really target like the C-suite, and we've tried to get younger professionals that are upwardly mobile so that we can stay with them through their career. There's things that we have to offer them now, but there's things that we offer them in the future as well. And so that's obviously an audience that really wants a strong digital product. Yeah. And so, obviously we keep building out our digital offerings. The website won an award for Best Web Publication back in 2015, I believe that was. And, right now we're sort of looking into video, we're looking into podcasting, things like that. We try and be very thoughtful about how we roll this stuff out. But I mean, that's what's in my crystal ball. Definitely.
Love it. Okay, so thinking about that, Allison. So we want to know your journey. I started off in media back in high school. I was a sports editor of my high school newspaper. I had my own column. It was called Haynes Sports Shorts. And but okay, how did you get into journalism, and how did you get all the way to Comstock?
Absolutely. So. You guys were talking about the Great Recession earlier. So I studied Japanese international studies, and I thought I was going to be a great diplomat. I was going to go work for the UN or something like that. And so I was teaching in Japan, and I was there for a couple years. I decided to come home because I was going to go get my master's and maybe try and get a professorship at the college level. And I left Japan in between Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers. The news from Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers.
Wow!
Yeah, it was
so it was that was in 2008 then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came home to kind of
we're on the anniversary right now of the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. I mean, it's wow.
It was right before I left Goldman Sachs, and I got home. It was a day later. It was Lehman Brothers. So that was a really scary time. But I'd always been really passionate about writing and news. My dad is a news junkie, and he kind of instilled a great respect for the press in me. And one thing that I think the Great Recession did, because I couldn't now go back to school, I could not justify taking on debt or anything like that, is it empowered me to really think about, well, if everything's going to be difficult, well, then I should do the thing that I really, really want to do, right?
And we can all learn from that.
Yeah, well, so my brother had just, he's a geneticist, and he had gotten a gig over at UC Davis. And
you guys come from a smart family, huh? My gosh. Okay, keep the story going. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, not a problem at all. So, I mean, so I packed up my Grand Am, and I drove out here to be with him. I said I didn't want to be in Wisconsin anymore. 6 months later, our sister came, so now we're all out here. And I just started hitting the pavement, trying to get people to let me write for them. I got a gig at the Sacramento Press. So I worked there for a year. That was hyper-local community news, online only. That company sold back late the fall of 2013. And so I was kind of on my own freelancing. That was a really scary time, and I'd put a lot of love into that company. It was a small business also, and we were kind of building from the ground up. So, obviously losing that was really hard, but it put me in a great position to come in and help Comstock, which was really thinking about moving in a digital direction, or at least expanding that way. And so I had no background in print media. I'd cut my teeth really in online only. And so it was just a really good pair. So I came on and learned print while I redid their website and sort of,
Did you come on to Comstock as the editor-in-chief?
No, I came on as the digital editor. And then from there I became the director of digital. And then from there I became the editor-in-chief. So.
Worked your way up the ladder. Okay, so what does the editor-in-chief do all day long? So it sounds like a big highfalutin position, but I don't even know what it means.
Well, I mean, I think that there is a preconceived notion maybe that it is a bit of a highfalutin position, and maybe once upon a time it was the kind of job where you just sat back in your desk and waited for people to come to you, but that's not the way newsrooms work anymore, obviously. So I have a fantastic team. I have 2 other editors that work with me. So I still manage all of our feature writing, and so then I have a managing editor who does everything on the web and our front back of book, and then we have a sections editor. So I am still in the trenches with my team, for part of the time, right? I do a lot of meetings and kind of conceptualizing what our editorial direction is. I oversee the marketing team, how we're getting our stuff out there. But I also do a lot of, I have an editing schedule just like my other editors, and, I write stuff that they edit. I think that's important for a leader, to not lose touch with what your staff is working on and what their kind of day-to-day is like, because you can't really lead if you don't know the kind of obstacles and assets even that they have at their disposal.
Yeah. Well, so you're an in the trenches type of leader. How else would you describe your leadership style? You're pretty hands-on? Are you a micromanaging type person?
No, I think delegation is huge. I'm
Okay.
definitely a perfectionist, but if you want to be a perfectionist, you have to delegate or you're never going to get anything done, right? And you also need to empower people. I'm a big advocate of like letting yourself fail. And those are like the most important lessons you learn, right? Is when you're like on your butt trying to figure out how you're going to get back up.
Tell me about it.
So, so there, our art department operates kind of on their own, and then I vet, right? As things are kind of coming in, getting on the page, I might start being like, let me see another version of this shot, or like, I don't really know about this headline. Let's work on things. But I could not get done everything I need to get done if I didn't have like a really strong team who was self-sufficient, who could, make their own decisions on the fly. They know when to come to me when they know, like, Allison's going to want to say on this, like,
Yeah.
don't make that call. But other than that, they need to be self-motivated as well.
What about women in leadership? You've recently have written about that subject. Have you had a message out there to women who are either entrepreneurs or working their way toward leadership positions? I mean, how is it? Any words of wisdom or inspiration for women out there?
This is your hour.
Aha.
I mean, like, look at what's going on. I mean, I am blessed to, work for like a woman-run company in a, business journalism isn't necessarily what you would think to find like a really strong female staff, which is really what we have. Our art director is a woman, my managing editor is a woman, and our publisher is a woman. Not that we don't have guys on staff,
Yeah.
and we love them as well. They do great work. But I think, there's nothing that needs to stand in your way right now. I mean, like, with everything we see kind of being brought to light, like, this is, your moment to not get held back by what you're seeing, I guess, in the media, but use it as fuel forward. And I would say, secondly, like, be kind to other women in that space, because I think sometimes we can get at each other just as much as like the world comes at us. And so, lift one another up. And, I didn't expect to be here necessarily, but I never let my gender hold me back, and neither should anybody else.
Allison Joy, editor-in-chief, Comstock Magazine. Thanks for joining us today, Allison. And when we return, I will be joined by Lori and John Wyckoff, a power couple with a passion for growing their business here in our region and helping our veterans, our heroes around the country. I am the entrepreneur next door. This is the Mark Haney Show.